You know, in our careers, it feels like we're just drowning in metrics, right? There's this constant pressure to keep up, to outrun everyone else. And it's so easy to start believing that's what growth is all about. But what if I told you the most powerful path to growth has absolutely nothing to do with them? Let's completely reframe how we think about competition. This right here, this is the core idea. And believe me, it is an absolute game changer, not just for your career, but for your peace of mind. So forget about the person in the next office or on the other end of the Zoom call. The real work, the real competition is about outlearning, outworking, and outgrowing the person you were yesterday. So, what we're looking at here are the two paths that we all face. On one side, you've got external competition. Think of it as this draining, endless race. And on the other, internal competition, an empowering, focused, personal journey. The path you decide to commit to, well, that's going to define not just your results, but your entire experience of growth. All right, let's get real for a minute and talk about that first path, what I call the comparison trap. Look, it can feel motivating at first, I get it, but the truth is it's a race that has no finish line. There's always going to be someone ahead of you, someone playing a totally different game with a completely different set of rules. And this is where the trap gets really subtle and honestly pretty dangerous. It quietly distorts our focus. Before you know it, you start optimizing for what looks good instead of what actually is good. You start chasing visibility over real mastery, speed over depth, and that hit of external validation over your own internal compass. And this is the most crucial point. External competition literally hijacks our most important question. We stop asking, how can I grow? How can I get better? And we start obsessing over, how do I compare? How do I measure up? And that single shift, it puts us on this treadmill of anxiety, and it pulls us further and further away from the work that actually matters. So what do we do about it? It is time to change the rules of the game. This is the pivot point. We're going to create a brand new game with new rules by setting up an internal benchmark. This is how you take back control. This is how you redefine what progress even means. And trust me, the payoff here is incredible. When you become your own benchmark, your progress suddenly becomes real and measurable against your own past efforts. Your growth becomes deeply personal, totally tailored to your unique journey. And every single win, no matter how big or small, becomes truly meaningful. It's a victory over your own past limitations. Okay, that all sounds great, right? But how do we make it a reality? Well, we do it by competing in 3 specific arenas. Think of this as a framework, a clear path to building that internal mastery and turning self-competition into a practical daily habit. It really just builds in 3 stages. First, we're going to outlearn our past self. Second, we're going to outwork our old habits. And finally, the big one, we outgrow our limiting beliefs. And the best part is, each stage builds on the last, creating this really powerful momentum. All right, let's dive into that first arena, outlearning your past. I mean, in a world that's changing this fast, what you knew yesterday just isn't going to cut it for tomorrow. The goal here isn't to know more than everybody else. It's simply to know more than you used to. It's about questioning your own assumptions and just relentlessly updating your skills. Okay, arena number 2 is all about outworking your old habits. You know, our habits are really just our decisions running on autopilot. So this is where we have to consciously choose consistency over just raw intensity. It's about choosing focus over distraction and follow through over these little brief bursts of effort. These are the tiny choices that compound into massive, massive change over time. Now, this next idea is one of the most powerful insights for professional growth, so really lean into this. We often think we need to feel ready or feel confident before we can act, but the truth, it's the complete opposite. Our actions create our beliefs. We don't think our way into a new way of acting, we act our way into a new way of thinking. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important arena, outgrowing your limiting beliefs. We all have it, right? That inner voice that says, I'm not ready for this, or this is my limit. You can't argue with that voice. You have to outgrow it with evidence. Every single small action you take, especially when you're feeling that doubt, becomes a piece of proof that rewrites the entire story of what you believe you're capable of. Okay, we have the framework. Now let's make this real. How do you actually stop tracking the world's metrics and start tracking your own? It is time to build your own personal scoreboard. So, this is the big question, isn't it? If we're going to ignore all that external validation, the promotions, the applause, the likes,
What do we track instead? Let's define some new metrics, ones built for sustainable internal growth.
Here's the shift. It's simple, but it's powerful. We stop tracking popularity and we start tracking consistency. We stop obsessing over the outcomes that we can't even control, and we start measuring the one thing we can, our effort. This move puts the definition of winning squarely back in your hands.
And you can start this like right now, this week. Just take 5 minutes for a simple reflection. Ask yourself these questions. Am I learning more than I was 6 months ago? Am I responding to challenges with a little more skill and a little less reactivity? Am I following through on my commitments more often? If the answers are yes, you are winning on your own terms. Now, here's the really powerful paradox in all of this. This deep internal focus, it actually creates a profound external impact. See, when you step off that exhausting treadmill of comparison, you reclaim an incredible amount of energy, and that's energy you can now invest in lifting up the people around you. Believe me, your commitment to your own quiet, consistent progress, it does not go unnoticed. People feel it. Your calm, your focus, your resilience, it becomes a model for your entire team, for your whole organization. Your internal growth literally creates ripples of stability and inspiration for everyone else. And this is the ultimate outcome. This goes so far beyond just personal success. The real reward is the deep self-respect that you earn from being committed to your own evolution. And it's from that foundation that you gain the true capacity for leadership, the ability to elevate others. So please, remember this powerful truth. True growth, the kind that really lasts, isn't just about how far you go. It's about how many people you're able to take with you on the journey. And that really brings us to the here and now. With all that energy you've reclaimed from the comparison trap, I want to leave you with one single powerful question. Who are you enabling today?